3 reasons I'm voting for Trump.
Ooh, don't tell me. A lack of critical thinking skills, absolutely no self-respect, and a visceral aversion to melanin?
Number 1. Well, there may someday come a time when there's a female who has worked her way up in the military.
Now, I'm not sure where you're going with this one, but I am sure that it's not where you think you're going with this one.
Achieve the respect of her peers.
Man, you are really ignoring Siri rerouting and telling you to make this next U-turn at like every intersection, aren't you?
Work side by side with high-level commanders in all the branches and is capable of making the decisions necessary in order to be the commander-in-chief of our military. That time is not now, and it is not Harris.
Right. Harris is unfit to lead the military because she never served in the military. So therefore, we've got no choice but to vote for Trump, who didn't serve in the military in 1964 when he was drafted and didn't go. And then in 1965 when he was drafted again and didn't go. And then in 1966 when he was drafted a third time and didn't go. And then in 1968 when he was drafted a fourth time and was out of college deferments, so he magically developed bone spurs and didn't go again. Obviously, military leadership has a deep respect for Donald Trump, except for Marine Corps General and former Trump Secretary of Defense James Mattis. He said that Trump is the most intentionally divisive president in his lifetime. And in 2020, he said we are suffering the consequences of Trump and we should unite without him. But you know, aside from General Mattis, he has a respect and admiration of military leadership. I mean, if you don't count Marine Corps General and former Trump Chief of Staff John Kelly, who criticized Trump's character and ethics in an interview before the 2020 election. But aside from him, and also Marine Corps General John Allen, who criticized Trump's leadership, and Admiral Mike Mullen, and General Martin Dempsey, and Air Force General Richard Myers, and Admiral William McRaven, and Admiral Jim Stavridis, and General Tony Thomas, and Air Force General Mike Hayden. There's Alexander Vindman, and I think like 4 former defense secretaries now that have spoken out against him. Sorry, what were we talking about again? Oh, right, military leadership's deep respect for Trump. But hey, some of those don't count, right? Like, obviously, Milley's biased because Trump suggested that he wanted to have Milley executed for not supporting his attempted treason. To be fair, I'm sure this all just came from one of those love letters that Trump was writing to Kim Jong-un, and he was like, my generals aren't respecting me and I don't know what to do. And Kim probably wrote back, he's like, I always just execute my generals who don't respect me, exclamation point with a little heart instead of a dot. So can you blame him when he probably just got the idea from other leaders he clearly admires and respects so much? But hey, just because a few dozen former high-ranking members of the military don't respect him, that doesn't mean anything. I'm sure the men in uniform respect him. That is when he's not busy calling them suckers and losers and saying that POWs aren't war heroes because they got captured, or attacking Gold Star family members, or criticizing career service members' service to their country, or suggesting that because he went to military school that one time that he was a more competent and qualified military leader than like 4-star generals, or suggesting that the Presidential Medal of Freedom that he gave to dipshits like Rush Limbaugh and a wealthy campaign donor is an even higher honor than the Congressional Medal of Honor. You know, the Congressional Medal of Honor that they give to service members for gallantly risking their lives in service of their country. But that's still not as high of an honor as somebody who just writes a big check to Donald Trump or spews hateful shit on AM radio for a lifetime. Aside from that, I'm sure he's got lots of respect from the military. Sorry, I got a little distracted. ADHD. You said you had 2 other reasons you were voting for Trump? I'm sure they're going to be just as good as this one.
Number 2, world leaders respect Trump. They do not respect Harris. We need somebody who's respected.
Right. I forgot that world leaders show their respect for the President of the United States by mocking him at NATO summits until they hurt his feelings so badly he leaves, goes home to Fox News, and cries about how two-faced they are. For the United Nations General Assembly bursting out in laughter when he tries to brag about his accomplishments to them in a speech. Or like that time that video got leaked of the Australian Prime Minister roasting Trump at a private dinner. So much respect. John Bolton has said that he's a laughing fool to world leaders. According to Pew Research, the global community as a whole has little to no confidence in Trump's ability to lead or do the right things. But I get it, because in the world of MAGA, you guys must interpret being laughed and pointed at, mocked, and called incompetent dumbasses as love and respect. Like some sort of weird dyslexia where it flips those things around in your head. Because if it didn't, there'd be none of you guys left, because pretty much all of us are laughing at you. You know, not with you, at you. Because we think you're stupid. Because you do things like say that Trump has the respect of military and world leadership. That's just genuinely laughably stupid. Anyway, bring us home with reason number 3.
Number 3, true success is only earned by traversing the road of failure.
Well, I guess if your definition of success is being a complete and utter failure, then Trump is your guy. I don't know if I'd really say he's like traversed the road of failure, but he's definitely done a lot of failure. Failed at casinos and stakes and airlines and universities and charities. Failed at getting away with fraud. He's failed at not being convicted of 34 felonies. Failed at ever winning the popular vote. He failed at an insurrection. He failed at not being best friends with a world famous child trafficker. It's probably a big part of the reason he's failed at marriage like 2.7 times. Let's be honest, the current one isn't what we would really call a success. Eric exists, so clearly he failed at being a father, which is further evidenced by his failure to not creepily hit on his daughter. That one's a pretty low bar to fail under there. Fails at not shitting himself in public. He fails at completing coherent sentences. He's definitely got the failure part down. I don't know when the success part's supposed to kick in, but should be any day at this rate.
She took the easy way up. That means no character. We need someone with character.
Donald Trump certainly is a character, you know, like a weird cartoon character, but I don't think that means that he has character, but that's an easy mistake to make. And you're right, Trump took the hard way up, just bootstrapping from the bottom with a measly $413 million from his daddy to get started on, and then filing bankruptcy 6 times, and then defrauding banks and the IRS and consumers and charities, not paying his contractors or his employees, and paying ghostwriters to write his books for him because he's illiterate, and lying about election fraud and cheating when he failed to win elections, throwing temper tantrums that would put the world's worst toddlers to shame every time he doesn't get exactly what he wants. He definitely worked hard and took the hard way to get here, unlike Kamala. Her easy upbringing in her extremely middle-class house with immigrant parents where she had to be bused an hour to her desegregated public school, and then she went to Howard University, which kind of sounds like Harvard, so that's pretty uppity, right? Then went to a state university to get her Juris Doctor, which, you know, is that graduate degree that allows you to practice law. Something she would have skipped like Donald Trump did if she wasn't taking the easy way up. And, you know, she became a district attorney and then an attorney general and then a United States senator and then the vice president. I mean, if she was really trying to work and take the hard, honest way up, she would have done some shitty TV shows for years, bankrupted half a dozen businesses, and then just ran for president. Genuine question, do you guys hear yourselves when you talk? Because if you do, I gotta know, how do you not sound as dumb to yourself as you do to anybody else with a remotely functioning brain? Because for us sentient life forms, it is truly one of those unsolved mysteries of the universe. Anyway, I am sweating. It is way too hot out here for this much stupid, so I'm going back inside.